Hi guys, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have a Divine Masculine Twin Flame read. The energy is much better today than it was yesterday. I'm feeling much better. Thank you for all of those wishing me a good night's sleep. I definitely slept better last night and definitely more functional today. I did have to go back out to the mall, to the Apple store to get my battery replaced in my phone, and I ended up getting helped by someone that my daughter went to school with. So that was a pleasant surprise. And everyone very nice today. So it was a little different than yesterday's energy, which was a little weird. So as we get into the read today, it is the 24th of April. The 24 is the Queen of Wands. It's also a 6 of love, family, and community. The day adds up to 40, which is a 4. So it's all about stability and structure and building, manifesting in a survival mode. And then that's also the Page of Cups. So we have the Page of Cups of that innocent, pure love, and also the youngest child, and then the Queen of Wands. So very much mother and child, but it's also that karmic mother-child relationship of that pure, innocent child, and a mother who may be a little bit just very physical. So they could be, even if they're not abusive in any way, it's a very bold personality, and so for a Page of Cups they could be very intimidating. And that's on the good end of the scale where they're not abusive, and then there's the other end where there's verbal abuse, physical abuse, all that kind of thing. So there's kind of that dynamic coming up here between those two energies. As we start the masculine read, it was 11, 47, 48. I was getting 48 more so in the read because that 8 of Cups definitely was important within this read today. And the major arcana from the Sirian Starseed deck were Strength, Alchemy, which is usually the Temperance card, Indigo, which is usually the Magician, Shadow, usually the Devil card, and then Solar Deity, which is usually the Sun. And then the card after the read was Divine Justice, which is usually the Justice card. There were 2 swords, 1 wand, 2 pentacles, 1 cup, and the court cards, there were no real court cards, but the 9 of Pentacles was there, and for me often that does represent a person. And then the Queen of Wands was present before the read, so that was the card underneath the underlying energy. Which actually, let me pick up the cards for you. Give me 1 sec. Sorry about that. So the numbers and the coding, it was all about healing today. And the numbers that came up were 8, which is the Strength card, which also came up, 68, which is the Page of Pentacles, 76, which is that 8 of Pentacles. So there's a lot of 8 energy here. And then 36, which is the 10 of Wands, 88, which again is Lionsgate, as well as the 2 twins integrated at 0 point. Then we have 99, 68 again, 89, and then 21, 21, which is all about completion. Okay, because 21 is the world. It's about achievement and going out into the world. And definitely was out more this week than I have been in a while, and I was actually just out cleaning out my garage, so if I have any branches or spider webs in my hair, please forgive me. I got a lot of stuff thrown in the trash that needed to go out. May have disrupted the spiders a little bit, so they might have been like running for cover. The message is about healing. We're about being the wise one, and continue to clear with the help from Source, backing you up always, but being the wise one on the high road, and showing it's thy show of power by expressing feelings of love and strength of the I am presence. Okay, that was very much the message. And then as soon as I was writing that information down, several songs came through. So first I was getting Through the Night. She's going to make it through the night, and that's Blinded by the Light. So you might want to read those lyrics. They're very pertinent here. As well as then Bonnie Tyler came up, Before This Night Is Through. And that's a very powerful song as well. So if you've never heard it before, you might want to give it a listen. Bonnie Tyler, Before This Night Is Through. Once upon a time I was falling apart. All the time there was light in my life. Now there's only love in the dark. And so I'm getting eclipse of the heart as well. Okay, so as we start the read, we have the Queen of Wands here behind the Strength card. Okay? So this is at the bottom of everything. Okay? The Queen of Wands with her hands into everything, with her eye on the prize, very focused in what she wants. So it's very direct, fiery, and selfish energy. So we have Sagittarius, Leo, or Sag and Leo, or one person who's Sag and Leo, double fire, which definitely would make sense here, at the bottom of it all. Thorn inside, with eye on the prize. And then I was getting hold on loosely, but don't let go. To unhappiness, no satisfaction. I can't get no satisfaction. Okay, so that comes through too. I can't get no satisfaction. All right, so and I didn't write down titles or bands, so hold on loosely, but don't let go. Okay, if you cling too tightly, you're going to lose control. So you might want to, if you want to in the comments, if you know the groups or the song title, if you could write that down, because I have trouble retrieving since my concussion issues. Okay, so trying to keep heart protected and balanced by refusing to see or pretending that you don't see the truth for the masculine, i.e. a lie. The Queen of Wands is going for Emperor status. The Page of Cups is out innocently watching the Divine Feminine out in the cold with synchronicities and heaven in her eyes. The Divine Lovers, the Divine Feminine is protected and sealed by Michael and Thoth. And the Emperor is left to his own accord, to his own devices. The Divine Masculine burning bush and the Divine Feminine heaven on earth. How to alchemize a whole new world together. The Divine Feminine on her tippy toes and Divine Masculine covered from head to toe, yet sitting on stone, and that just simply can't be comfortable. And then Heaven Can Wait came up as Gabriel communicates a different message. Bull and lion left out of the loop, while Emperor in cover-up of the sexual parts. Okay? The molehill that became a mountain due to his need for power and control, and that can be this Queen of Wands as well, leaving the Divine Feminine hanging, floating in etheric realms, and feeling his sexual energy. Now passion of the High Priestess in the aftermath of grounding and integrating, which is also GI. So grounding and integrating is just like your body going through the GI tract to ground, to process the food, right? To get rid of what's no longer needed. Having ignored an offer of love from God, the masculine, Libra, Pisces, Sag, and a Scorpio interfering, a judge, high priestess, and angel, or justice between the Viking Italian and angel trying to keep things balanced and alchemized. Mastering sexual energy, along with extreme excitement and or fear in order to stay at 0 point and the present moment, to avoid the ice pick to get through the cold exterior, possibly of the justice system, and angel of mercy. Masculine judge stepping down in favor of a feminine and more balanced fairness and the emotional flow between the divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Viking and Italian root chakra based and may be stone aged, but also the feminine and higher knowledge may be based in the ice ages, so there may be some cold ice to pick away. So it's like the fire and ice comparison of the masculine and the feminine. That the masculine may be stuck in the root chakra of the Stone Age, like the Flintstones, but the feminine can be stuck in the Ice Age of being cold, right? So you build up that exterior for both. So clear all wounds due to avoidance. So here again, the avoidance wounds are coming up. Not wanting to deal with unpleasant situations. Left long, they get out of hand and things fall apart, don't they? And deception was coming up for the masculine, and beneath that was worth waiting for. But in order, if it's worth waiting for, the masculines, you also need to clear the deception there. Take the mask off. Keeping quiet or having kept quiet, silenced in a third-party love affair, where one party is kept hidden because someone feels, or they feel themselves, they're not worthy of real love. That's the wound. And then I was getting master of the house. Na 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 na, right? Na 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 na. Isn't that from Les Mis? All right, so master of the house, the traditional man's role of being the last word in the house, trying to control the way he is seen by others, yet longing for his wish to come true, thinking back to see what he could have done differently. Lantern and fruit, flowers and fans, scrollwork and love notes, sonics and messages. Brown paper packages tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. Okay, boom, 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 boom. Okay, so that was coming up as well. Socks hanging from trees. But I want to continue in that. But it's socks hanging from trees and lovebird memories. Butt cracks and cutting comments. A fine line between blood and truth. And what's best for you. Rebirth came up for the masculine, which is number 16 of the Tower energy. So there's definitely explosive energies coming up here. And beneath that was spiritual partnership of number 27, which is the Ace of Wands. So Ace of Wands and the Tower together is huge sexual explosion. In your knowing, winged emerald order, without opening eyes, so all of you should be at this point, including the masculine, within your own knowing, without opening your eyes, the winged emerald order, that's you. Just blue eyes may be displaying outside of you the turn of the wheel, Jupiter rising, when it aligns with Cancer, North Node. Okay, so I don't know all of the astrology behind this, but I'm definitely getting that when Jupiter is rising, because I know it's retrograde right now, but when it aligns with the Cancer North Node in a certain aspect, and Jupiter in Sagittarius was coming up, someone chucking all their cookies, so someone throwing up possibly, like being on a fun ride at an amusement park, that in the end makes you sick or throw up. It was good until it wasn't, but should have known better. Was it really worth the thrill in keeping your eyes closed and pretending you don't know the truth? There was bold movement forward, but now masculine's dead in the water without a leg to stand on. Engine won't turn over. R2-D2 got dumped on, or electronics computers are all wet from a leak, or fire alarm sprinkler system. An incorrect connection causes sparks that kill, or at minimum drain all the energy out of the system, like a heart attack, where no one is ever the same afterwards. And I totally know that feeling, because when I was in high school, we were sharing my dad's old car, which was, it was like 10 years old. And my brother, who was working at the gas station at the time, my older brother, changed my spark plugs for me in the old car, and he put them back in a slightly wrong position, and when I went to start the car, there were sparks flying all over the place. So here's your fireworks, all right? And of course he doesn't want to admit he's wrong, he's a teenager. And but the car was doing great, even though it was old until then. But after that, it was like having a heart attack. The car was just never the same. It never had the same oomph. So as I turn the page, it's 1242, and 42 is the Two of Cups, of seeing eye to eye, partners, soulmates. As lovers are hidden, wait, one second. Lovers are hidden in this event here, like the heart attack, where you're never the same afterward. Lovers hidden, domino effect. So it's saying when you hide and you lie, this is the domino effect that happens down the line or down the road. Tunnel vision, seeing nothing around you but a single focus, not caring about anything, right, but your own vision. The Sagittarius Emperor blocked due to deception. His own mask, due to his twin, is a mask to himself in rebirth after having been blocked. Okay, so if you put on a mask to protect yourself from others, you're really just protecting you from you, right? So that's like that rejection energy. So that's why a lot of swelling, and I'm just getting this now, a lot of the reason for swelling and edema problems is when you reject yourself. It's like an organ being rejected from your body. Okay, there's swelling because you're trying to push your body away from itself. Okay, so it's like the body attacking itself. So when you're not being authentic to yourself, or maybe eating foods that aren't good for your body, and you know it, you're pretending not to see, it causes then swelling, okay? Because you're attacking yourself by feeding yourself something you know that doesn't serve you. So recently, for the masculine here is the alchemy card. And here's a peach pit, or possibly an apricot kernel, which both have amygdalin in them, which we know helps cure cancer, but the medical community won't tell you that because the FDA had some negative experiences with past usage of it that wasn't FDA approved from a long time ago. But you can look up information about that if you'd like to. But amygdalin, many natural foods and fruits have amygdalin in them, which is a natural cancer cure that our U.S. processing kills out of all of our foods. So, and it's interesting too, because the town that has a whole lot of apricot trees where they just pull them off and eat them naturally is one of the lowest cancer countries or communities in the world. So this is just some of the information I'd researched when I was still working, because I was in medical research myself. So when I had my back injury, I ended up doing a lot of research about my back, and then ended up at the same time doing a lot of research for some of my cancer patients and things like that. So some really cool information came up recently. So with the alchemy of giving up the battle to celebrate happy family with out of control Leo, or the masculine's own ego, giving up the war by laying down of swords in near-death experience, or refusing to allow the transition, or death to completely happen, and possibly just sick to stomach, or just plain drained, or plain Jane. Nothing special. 68 special. Page of Pentacles, opportunity to learn, to regain his gold coin he had lost along the way. The foundation, and I want to explain that too. I've been talking about the gold coin that we come into the life with as a child. So for masculine, he may lose his gold coin because if he's doted on by too many feminines in his childhood, he learns to not have to rely on his masculine self because all these feminines do everything for him. So he learns to manipulate to his advantage, and then loses his birthright masculinity, actually. So the foundation here is the Three of Orbs. At work, a teacher or mentor is heartbroken in separation, or may have had a heart attack, an MI, while presenting, possibly. A big wake-up call, or maybe a false alert, or jumping the gun due to stubborn, dysfunctional family, or refusing to spend money on medical bills. So someone maybe not going to doctor appointments, or not going to the hospital because maybe they don't have the right coverage and they don't want to end up having to spend thousands of dollars. So centrally, the masculine is suffering, purging, stressed, as the Queen of Pentacles is grieving loss, or supporting his grief by backing him up behind him as reaping rewards. But is it enough to support an ill mother, or an Empress reversed, grieving in lack from no love from the Knight of Cups, wanting to burn the past imbalances in relationship? The challenge being for the masculine, so again, this was the central energy for the masculine, okay, the Nine of Orbs, which is like the Nine of Swords. So that's definitely the purging and suffering cycles, as well as stress. The challenge being the Eight of Flames for the masculine, flinging arrows that can burn or sting, like pulling hair on the playground or snapping a rubber band. Hurting someone in order to get their attention, just like an immature boy would do to a girl in the playground. The King of Cups may be jealous or insincere, with a hermit who's been over-isolating and coming out now expressing feelings and passion like darts in his heart. The Knight of Cups with new passion to burn the past, make restitution by protecting self, thus twin, from negative frustrations and things that we keep in. With the King of Wands, Metatron, angel guidance. Because as I've said before, I often see the King of Wands in the reads as Metatron watching over the masculine, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to. So now crowning is Indigo. And here's the Indigo card. The Queen of Cups, and as we turn the page, it's 1 o'clock. Okay, so that's big source power and oneness. The Queen of Cups and Sovereign around him. Insecure Magi or Magician can be manipulative. Okay, so the masculine may feel like he's in between two women who are in their power, and him not, maybe feeling insecure and manipulative. Or the Queen of Wands is hiding behind her insecurities, and the Magi, reversed, or Magician, manipulative, hides behind Sovereign in her power. So the masculine will be hiding behind the feminine because she's in her power right now, taking what the Indigo can get now and making a run for it to destiny, to get away from a negative past and rise above energy drains and lack of sun, or rise above negative Leo and or Cancer who are causing blocks. For some, this is ego, and illness could be cancer for some. Some may feel guilty for their good fortune, while others may be ill and or dying around them. Indigo may get kicked out or kick someone out at home to release self from prison and burn that past. Death of inequality and not expressing feelings, getting away from all that to find a peaceful place, possibly a date with their twin, standing up for themselves and allowing self to say what's inside, maybe a little at a time, or to a King of Wands about separation of twin and or self nightmare. So he may be confiding in a King of Wands or confiding in himself. In a nightmare with the Queen of Pentacles, him being the King of Pentacles in his truth as he breaks through his own crown. So soon for the masculine is coming into balance. The Six of Crystals here, which is like the Six of Pentacles. By serving a message of love with a partner or soulmate to detox the chains that bind, the King of Pentacles reversed is carrying a great burden of loss of money and status potentially, or just ungrounded, of angel wings and unconditional love. So this is his burden right now. The grounding and integrating of destiny, of being schooled, which was possibly an RX or a cure that he needed, or possibly someone's homeschooling or being homeschooled. Perhaps awakened to a high priestess sharing with other angels as a child brings them together. He is the shadow web. So this is how he's seeing himself, as that devil, the shadow. Okay, but definitely getting shadow work here. He's seeing himself as the shadow web of negative past. So it could be like the ghost of Christmas past and deception, but coming into his truth as the King of Swords upright this time. And at that moment, it was 114, and 14, of course, 1 is the Magician, and 14 is the Temperance card of the angels. But a white van rushed south on my street. Or kids are being difficult and deceptive, and the King of Swords is standing strong, immovable about his truth and what they're supposed to do. So the cards that came out from Romance Angels were retreat, separation, express your love for the masculine, that children are affecting your love life, forgiving and learning, and then reconciliation for the masculine. Around the divine masculine is the solar deity, and walking away from failure and neediness and lack of money or lack of gold coin from tripping up and repeating patterns. Now inspired by feeling defenseless to energies and or attacks from other people, all exposed to walk away from that which no longer serves. So he's now becoming inspired because he's been knocked down so low, finding the inspiration to now get rid of that which does not serve. Clear blocks about walking away and or within from 28, the Queen of Swords truth, the Knight of Wands rushing back to the Queen of Wands reversed for closure, or Queen of Wands reversed in the way of the Knight of Wands getting to the sealed divine feminine. So it's definitely coming up as the masculine, like walking away from the divine feminine to get closure with that old situation. So he may have come out to talk or whatever and then needs to still go back and close things up. Or it could just represent the fact that the Queen of Wands reversed is still standing in the way as the block of the masculine to get to the divine feminine. And as we turn the page, it was 120, and 20 is the judgment of the Magician. And this was the environment there, the solar deity, what's around the masculine or how he is seen. And then the block that he needs to clear is this 8 of Cups, right? Feeling the need to make sure everything's perfect before he walks away, which is not necessary. That's control. So it's also getting the Queen of Wands reversed coming up here as the root of the problem. Maybe verbally aggressive perhaps, also temper tantrums in order to get her way. And maybe the masculine not wanting to have to deal with her, and so that becomes the block for him getting to the feminine, because he doesn't want to deal with that uncomfortable situation, which is the avoidance. So healing comes up here, like I said in the beginning, but even more so for the masculine is intuition and domestic harmony. Like him putting his domestic harmony above his truth, like not wanting to rock the cart, you know. So destiny, the last two cards came up, but I was guided to pull a third card. All right, so this would normally be the solution to the read, and then this is the after the read card, but I was also guided to pull this one today as well. All right, so we have the Nine of Pentacles, Justice, and then the Ace of, it's hard to see that card here, but that's like a diamond in the rough coming out of the rocks as the Ace of Crystals. Okay, so that's like that new life, offer of money or a brand new life. And this is very powerful with the Nine, the Sovereign, and Justice, which is just truth and balance in going into a brand new life. Destiny, possibly that the masculine's been dealing with a destiny with a conceited person, perhaps, or conceited himself. Queen of Wands are keeping a distance from her when flame is near, and now the masculine's seeing that this is imperative. And I was just getting Katy Perry. I don't know why. So fireworks was coming up again. All right, so right, because if you bring the feminine and the Queen of Wands, he may be worried about fireworks happening. Okay, so the Sovereign rising above judgment of the King of Pentacles, superhero, truth and triumph, climbing a mountain on a quest for the gold coin, the peak, the Holy Grail, he may have thought was his abuser. Because she showed confidence, he was put down to feel that she knew better than him, what's good for him, could even be himself, this Queen of Wands reversed, right? And keeping himself down. The false light in the way of his flame, which is himself. So whatever he's doing against his flame, he's doing against himself. Filling her cup all this time, the Queen of Wands reversed, when he was taking from his flame, himself. Sovereign justice rings, with synchronicities staged by dark, causing imbalance, perhaps now paying out debt to receive new love, new life, diamond light. The Emperor, King of Wands, over the worst. So the Emperor and King of Wands can be one person, or it could be two separate people, or it could be the Emperor along with Metatron. Over the worst now of the messenger of truth, now the masculine messenger of truth, recovering his gold coin, the one was taken away from so many women doting over him his whole life, taking away his masculinity, holding back new life as lovers look at the past and having gone back to a marriage and now committing to self instead, higher self, God's source. The eye of the tiger on separation, shadow work, and exposure to alchemize suffering by expressing feelings of equitable distribution and walking away from 28, or the false twin, false light, as Indigo Sovereign, justice rings, bringing in that new life. And right after I finished this, the time was 1:27 and my mail was at 10:227. So that was pretty cool. Okay, so that's your read here. And it's 28 as we're ending this here. So this is the basic read, and then we have the full read here. Okay, let's see if there was anything else that I forgot. Yeah, this came out in the shuffle as well. Okay. And I'm going to do the oracle cards separately today. But yeah, definitely, definitely was a shift here in the way the energies are going to be from now on. And I know that there was talk about a new mental purge as opposed to an emotional purge, and that was coming from Elizabeth at House of Items and the guest that she had on last week, Jason. So definitely was feeling a shift of energy, a whole new way of being now. And we're starting to get acclimated now, but just make sure you get plenty of rest and just allow, when you need to purge, but just always come back to 0 point in the end. Drink your water, get your rest, and rise and be loved, guys. Bye.